everybody. I'm Elizabeth De Rosa, and I am inspired and excited to be on the 5-Minute Bark today. I'm a mom, author, and holistic health coach. As an author of Finding the Way, I share my family's incredible health transformation from sickness to wellness and the easy tips we can all utilize in our day-to-day lives.
All right, so we're back on the 5-Minute Bark podcast here today. Over 170 episodes now, and I'm really excited today to give you another amazing guest. I'm very, very fortunate to have a lot of people out there that come to my show and want to be on the show, and they're so excited to share their business, share their story, and change lives. Today, we've got Elizabeth DeRosa here today on our show, and she's got a program called Finding the Way. And we're going to be talking a lot. We had a quick little conversation before we went online today. But she's got a lot to share, and I'm really excited about having her on the show today. She is also represented by Heather DeSantis in a public agency doing publicity and stuff like that for her, and she's aligned this for her today, and so we're really excited to have Heather helping great people out as well. So, Elizabeth, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Dennis. Thank you.
No, thank you for coming on the show. This is so amazing. So you were telling me before that you're really out there to help busy moms, busy people change their lives, get them in line, in order, so that they can have a healthy life.
Yes, that's mainly what I focus on. And I think part of that focus is that we're all so busy. We're constantly on the go. We're constantly sitting. And that is my niche and how I want to help people.
You know what's funny, Elizabeth, is I hear that a lot from certain people. And I'm going to say certain people. I'm too busy. I don't have time. It's like you hear it 20 times a day from these people. They're too busy. Yet they're so not busy that they can tell you they're too busy. Right? Does that make sense? I'm too busy, but you can have a coffee with them and they'll spend 2 hours having coffee, but they're too busy. Right. It's an addiction. It really is an addiction to people that they want to be busy, but yet tell us about how you fix that.
Well, I think in this day and age with technology and everything that's going on, people are working from home. So you think they would have more time, but they don't. For busy moms who are taking care of a home and working. It's just a lot of added stress in our world, and we don't know what to do with that stress. We don't know how to simplify, and that's why I sort of help people. What is it that you can take from your day-to-day and just get rid of? What does business look like to you? What do you want your day-to-day to look like? And those are really, really important keys to having overall health and wellness.
Yeah. So, you didn't just go and decide to do this at all. Obviously, there's some passion behind this, and you had probably a busy lifestyle yourself, and one day you just said, enough's enough.
Yes.
Can you remember that day that, like you said, enough's enough, and what happened that day, or what happened in that moment to say, this is going to change, and I'm going to help other people change?
Sure. So I remember the day very clearly. I have 3 teenagers, all playing sports. So we're constantly on the go and on the move, just like everybody else. My moment of awakening came to me on November 5th, 2012, I believe, when I was diagnosed with a large benign brain tumor. And in that moment, my entire life shifted in terms of what are my priorities? What do I want to take out of this life that has meaning? A lot of the things that we do today don't really have significant internal emotional meaning.
And so many people are just so busy not pursuing that meaning, right? That meaning in life. And so the first meaning you came out with was starting this company or taking care of your children, or?
I had already started with writing the book, and it ends with my experience. But I think that my personal experience, having gone through surgery and having had a brain tumor removed, again, it's more internal. Learning to have more patience, learning to live with gratitude, learning to slow down. And what does slowing down really mean? Does it mean just sitting watching TV? Does it mean being mindful, saying prayers, being silent, going within? It really gave me a confidence that as a mom in a busy world, I don't have to be perfect. And I think that's the biggest freedom that's come to me. And if I can help people get there before they have a major disease, that's what I want to do.
It's almost like you should change your company name to I Don't Have to Be Perfect.
Yeah. And it's, we live in a world where our kids now have to be perfect. They can't make mistakes. There's so much pressure and stress on them. And again, moms have to do everything, and dads too. That it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to learn from those lessons. And it's given people around me a greater sense of freedom as well, because they know that it's okay not to be perfect.
Right. I mean, kids, I've heard it many times before. Actually, I just had a friend who experienced it. His kid just felt like he had so many standards he had to live up to, and he just really wanted to move out of town. He wanted to get out of the whole mess. Whatever they have to deal with nowadays. I'm not a kid, so I don't know, but I don't have kids, so I wouldn't even know. But and as adults, we've experienced it. As kids, they're now experiencing it, but you can really see, at least the United States, it's really boiling over right now, and people are getting tired of the perfect, getting tired of, trying to fit, and a lot of people are just kind of defaulting to themselves, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. I totally agree. I think there is a movement. It might be a silent movement that's growing in masses. People are tired of what's going on, and they want to make a change. And I'm here to help people make that change and to say it's okay to make change. Change is hard. We all have our routines. We like what we like. But if you can step out of that box, it can lead you down a wonderful path. So finding the way, right? If somebody was going to try, they're watching this video right now and they're feeling that, I'm too busy and I'm just lost. And what are some things you could really kind of give them to start with to change? I mean, obviously not everybody's going to have a brain tumor that's going to force them to change, right?
Right.
So they're spoiled in a sense, right? They're spoiled. They need something that's going to help them decide to find their way.
Right.
Any kind of advice you could give them, besides calling you, of course, but
right, sure. And I'm glad they're spoiled. I don't want anyone to go through, what I went through. But having said that, there is a lot of different disease and illness, and we all carry something. We all have our own story. So I think if people just want to sit in reflection about their life and what is it that they want to change, getting more sleep, exercising. It's so important for us to be moving our bodies, eating the right foods, being social. Again, with work, we tend to work at home, in cubicles away from people. We're not socializing as much. And that's key. Like, we can talk about food and the importance of food, but just as important is our emotional and mental state. And what do we need to have that thrive? Is we need social interaction. We need sleep. We need exercise.
We're talking about, finding that space, and I like that, because that's what I was going to say to myself. It's like, if they can just have this little space that they go to, let's help them maybe see that in 3D, like an example of a space maybe you go to, or maybe one you've brought clients to, that they can actually sit and find that stop, I guess. And I want to retract to my thing about spoiled. I'm not saying that people are spoiled. I guess I used the wrong word there. They're gifted with the right time and space and the health and stuff like that at that moment. So spoiled, I guess, don't take it seriously, folks. I'm just saying that in a different way. But find that space. What would it look like for somebody? Because they're probably listening right now. Okay, I get what she's saying, but what does that space look like in a little more detail?
Sure. So everybody's unique. in terms of what they like to do and what they don't like to do. For example, for me, it's important for me to be balanced and grounded on a day-to-day basis. With 3 teenagers, emotions are, all over the place. I have busy live stuff going on. So how do I take care of myself? Self-care, which is so important. I'll drink a glass of water before I get out of bed. I'll say my prayers. I'll listen to my podcast or morning mantra before I do anything else. It can be 1 minute, it can be 5 minutes, it can be 30 minutes, whatever you have time for. But allowing yourself or gifting yourself with those few moments before you get out of your bed and start with the regular routine of your day, it will set you on a different path.
Every single time.
Every single time. Then then we talk about having breakfast. There are certain foods that we can eat that help our body versus other foods. So, then the question is, what are you eating nutritionally? Keep a journal. Journaling is a great way to see what's going on in your life. Whether it's emotions, you're having a hard time with something, you want to keep a food diary because you're having health issues. That's a really good starting point so that you can visually see what you're doing. Okay,
so writing a journal down, I personally have tried that, and I've been that too busy person. Mm-hmm. What are your suggestions on that? How do they try to keep that going? Because we're busy.
I would just, but maybe just keep a list. Put a piece of paper on your wall. That way you're not writing, sitting 30 minutes writing. Just keep a random list going. What do you want to try? What do you want to change? And if that list is in a visual spot, you'll see it a few times a day, right? Or talk with somebody. If writing is not your thing, go talk with a friend or a practitioner that you trust. Share your concerns, your ideas. The thing that I'd never realized is there are so many people out there who want to help. And it's finding those people. That's the hard part, is that first initial step of finding somebody that can support you in your process.
Elizabeth, I have to say you're amazing. I mean, this is so awesome that you're doing this for all of us. I mean, I know it's your living, but it still takes far beyond, it takes a lot of guts to do what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Yeah. It definitely is not, wasn't my calling to begin with in life, but it absolutely came screaming at me. And I've sort of taken it and run with it in the sense that, I share my family's experiences, not because my story is more important, because it's not, but because there are lessons I think everybody can utilize if they want to.
Yeah. So prior to this, I mean, obviously you led a life that brought you bad health. What are some of the things that you were doing that you thought or you think that were going to take you to that level of getting that tumor? There must have been a lot of stress. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great question, and I've often thought about it. I don't think about it too much because
you don't want to think about it.
Life's a mystery, and I'm not sure that I'll ever know why I got a brain tumor. But certainly looking back, I can say, again, it's that whole perfectionist mom thing. The perfect volunteer, running here and there, putting myself last, and I think that's key. Moms typically put themselves last, and everybody comes before their needs. I think there's probably, the stress, the busyness, the having to be perfect, the big house, wanting things, trying to maintain all of that, a bigger lifestyle, and having the brain tumor. I just said, I'm done.
So you achieved the big house, the white picket fence, the beautiful family, the great kids, all that stuff that we all saw what we wanted when we were kids, women and men. We want to provide for our woman and give her that house, give her that family, give her that stuff. And that obviously we get the stress as well. And you get the stress and almost I guess more often than not, based on statistics, nobody wins.
Right.
Even in that situation, it's just something you can show your friends when they drive by or they come over for a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about that, because that's probably where the stress comes in relationships and life and for moms. how do they let go of that, like that white picket fence that we wanted when we were kids?
You know, it's amazing when people, so I sold my big house and moved into a smaller house, and I got rid of probably 2/3 of my stuff. Very happily and freely gave it away. It just gives you a sense of freedom. And again, I think if you can get beyond the idea that you have to be, you know, make this certain amount of money to be successful, have this kind of car, the bigger, more expensive cars, this type of clothing, you know, and on and on and on. Again, I cannot stress enough the freedom that comes from just letting it go.
Yeah. You know, I used to buy the $250 shirts, the $300 pairs of leather shoes and all this stuff. And they were beautiful and nice. And I looked good and I had a lot of confidence. I'd get the confidence when I went out. Right now I'm wearing a $12 Costco golf shirt. I used to go buy I had to get the latest and greatest Nike shirts. And, you know, it's really amazing. I mean, I kind of gave up on, you know, I dated a gal that was in the fashion industry, and she was a clothing provider and sold clothes and stuff. And she's like, Dennis, you know, we just go to the Mart in LA and we buy that same shirt you bought for $300 for $5. And she would go and buy me a bunch of shirts for $5 a piece. And they would, same quality, same thing. All they do is you put a brand on it and sell it. Right.
Yep.
And, you know, it's like, wow. You know what I mean?
Right.
I bought into that, you know, that expensive Russian hara. Now I go to Costco and I can get the same pair of jeans for $12, you know, probably better quality.
Yep. Well, I think we all buy into that because, you know, I think at certain times in our lives, that's where we think success is. You know, that's our barometer for how we're doing in this world is, you know, the size of our house and what we're wearing and the size of the car. But I think it's important for people to look at their overall health and well-being from a holistic perspective. You know, body, mind, and spirit. It's not just the physical outside part of who we are that's important. It's actually just the opposite. It's the inside that we don't nurture, that we don't listen to, that we don't take care of.
Yeah.
That's desperately calling for our attention. And we can see that with the number of health issues that we see today.
So on your day off, when you're not working hard, working on this company you've started, what do you do to put the smile on your face? What do you do to enjoy your family? Now in this new life, what's it like now versus what it used to be?
Oh, it's completely different. I think living with gratitude each and every day for just waking up. You know, I wish everyone had that feeling when they woke up in the morning. But I do so many different things. One of my newest things that I love to do twice a week is an exercise group with my friends. I've never laughed so hard and gotten a cardio workout. You know, it's just, and again, it's that social interaction. I could do an exercise thing here at home by myself, but just being out and active and really listening to people, I think is, again, one of the bigger lessons that I've learned. You know, it's funny. Here's the funny story is that because of my brain tumor, I'm deaf in my right ear, but I have tinnitus, which is very loud and screechy. But I listen so much more clear to people and what they're saying today than I ever did with a good ear and no noise.
It's amazing because I because of this podcast now actually have such a better social life than ever before because I want to listen now because I want to get the goods out of people because, you know, people coming on my show, they're taking the time to come on the show. I got to make sure I listen and get some good out of them, you know, but it's amazing. So, I mean, listeners, if you're listening now, that's just one gem you can take away from this is practice listening and on a whole new level too. Not just like surface listening, like really like have a contest with yourself of how good you can listen to somebody and listen to their voice and listen to the emotions that they have and listen where their passion is and just grab onto that, ask a question about it and take it there. You want to create relationships with your kids. You want to create relationships with your husband, your wife. anyone, friends and family, that will take you in a whole new level. It really will.
Absolutely.
We're both, experiencing that now, right? It totally changes.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me more about how people can come on board with you. Tell them what they could expect if they want to work with you. Some of the results maybe that have come from working with you. Let's do a little self-promotion here.
So you can find me at findingtheway.net. And on that website, it lists the services that I provide. And again, when we're talking about holistic health, keep in mind it's body, mind, spirit. So I do different programs. I do one and done, where it's a 2-hour meeting that we can take place and give you steps and things that you can take for you. I do 3-month program, 6-month program that focuses more on the foods, getting into what's causing some of the issues that you're facing. It looks at stress. It looks at spirit. I do workshops for schools. That's a big one. I speak to a lot of different schools on the foods that our kids are eating and the problem with the food supply today in America. And then I also do book club presentations based on my book.
I noticed you talk a lot about food today in this interview. There's a lot, everything retracts back to food. Why don't you explain why?
It goes back to food because I started on this journey unknowingly about, it's been about 8 years, with my son, who was diagnosed from age 1 to 10 with everything from asthma, allergy, ear infections, sinus infections, sleep problems, migraine headaches. And I treated him with Western medicine for about 10 years. And finally, his symptoms were getting worse. He now had leaky gut syndrome, candida, and a whole host of other daily chronic symptoms. So at 10 years, I said no more. I don't know where the next step is. I'm not even sure I want to go out from what mainstream doctors are telling me because I don't know what to do. But I took that step and I said no more. Found a practitioner in Florida, National Candida Center, who helped me regain Frankie's health in a way that shocked me. It shocked me in the sense that we just changed his food. We helped heal his digestive system somewhat. It needed a lot of help, but we changed the food that he was eating. So that really started my process into looking at foods. And if it was so easy for my son to do it, why are all these other kids suffering with these major issues? Yeah.
So it all starts with food. So then when you get probably when you're starting to work with people, that's one of the things you bring up first, because it starts with the food and then we can heal the rest of the
Absolutely.
Problems. Okay.
Yep. Food is the starting spot unless somebody says otherwise. But people usually reach out for a health coach for the physical first. And then as they learn and grow about physical aspects of themselves, then it's like a light comes on that I can go deeper and learn more about myself on a deeper, truer level.
Awesome. You're awesome. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thanks.
Well, our time is already up. We're actually past our 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It flies by. It always does.
It does.
And I just do want to say you're a special person, and thank you for, number one, battling cancer and taking it by the arm and getting rid of it. That's very powerful. And taking control of your life, taking control of your family. And now you're taking control of other people's lives and helping them in a form of a business. And I really like that. And if you're listening out there, everybody, Find the Way. And it's findtheway.net. Is that correct?
Findingtheway.net.
Findingtheway.net.
Yeah.
So let's put ing in there. Findingtheway.net. And please reach out. And if you're watching, obviously it's in the proof. You know, she's gone through traumatic things, and thank God a lot of us don't have to. But we need people out there that can certainly help us. And Elizabeth is doing that for us. So it's amazing that you're doing that. And I want to thank you for coming on the show here today. And it was amazing to learn more about this. And it all starts with food, everybody. But again, being busy, we learned here today is great and all. It's like a show off thing, so to speak. It's, I'm so busy, but it's just a front, you know. And,
yep.
and
yep.
leading to a better life is awesome. Is there any last words you would like to put out there for anybody here today?
I just like to say to people, somebody said it to me years ago, do we want to survive or do we want to thrive? And I think we all have it in us to thrive, and sometimes we just need that little nudge or somebody to help us along the way, because when you're thriving, it's awesome and it feels so good and you want to share it with people.
Absolutely. Awesome. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Listeners, thank you so much again for listening here today. I appreciate every one of you, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show today, Elizabeth.
Dennis, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Bye, everybody. You're watching the 5 Minute Bark Podcast on YouTube. If you like this episode, you just may like many more. Subscribe today by clicking the red subscribe button in the top right-hand corner.